So if that was a little confusing, let's do a couple more of these just so that you can get the hang of this. We can figure out which point we're going to use in the point slope right away. Because remember, we're doing y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. That's the point slope equation that we want to use. And we are doing y minus negative 3. So our y1 in this case is negative 3 because we're just matching it up with our formula. And that tells us we're going to be using this point. So y1 is 3, so that means x1 is 6. So we know that when we're going to plug it into the formula later. But notice the only thing we don't know is m. So we have to find the slope. So let me just write that down. So find slope. And to do that, we'll just use our slope formula again when we have 2 points. So we already know x1 and y1. So that makes this x2 and y2. So x2 is 1 and y2 is 0. So let's plug those in. y2 is 0 and y1 is negative 3. So remember, put it in parentheses because we are subtracting y1. So we are subtracting a negative there. You have to be careful not to mess up your signs. And x2 is 1 and x1 is 6. So we are subtracting 6. So 0 minus negative 3, that's the same as adding 3. And 1 minus 6 would be negative 5. So our slope is minus 3/5. And from here, we can just plug everything into our point slope equation. Let me just make a little more room. So plugging in what we have that y minus y1. But remember that x1 is 6 and y1 is minus 3 from our point. So we have y minus negative 3. And this equals m, which is minus 3/5 times x minus x1, which is 6. And so when we actually write all this in the box, we're just going to put minus 3/5 parentheses x minus 6. So with that in mind, let's do another one. And again, we're just completing the point slope equation of the line through these 2 points. And I'm just going to rewrite point slope form. So y minus y1 is m times x minus x1. And so notice we have y minus 7. And since we're subtracting 7 and we're in the formula subtracting y1 and 7 are equal. And so that means we're using this point right here. So that tells us that x1 is minus 5 and y1 is 7. So we're going to use this as x2, y2 when we find the slope. So let me write this in, that x1 would then be minus 5. So we know y1, we know x1, we just need to find m. And to do that, we'll use the slope formula. So m is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we already know which points are x1 and y1 and which are x2 and y2. We designated those just a moment ago. So y2 is 0 in this case, and y1 is 7. x2, that is negative 4. And then we're subtracting x1, which is negative 5. So again, be careful with your signs. You are subtracting a negative number here. And subtracting a negative is the same as adding. And so in the denominator, minus 4 plus 5 would just be 1. And 0 minus 7 would be minus 7. So our slope here is just negative 7. And so now we know all the different values we need to find, so we can plug them all in. So we have that y minus y1, that's 7, is equal to m, which is negative 7, times x minus x1, which is negative 5. And again, you're subtracting a negative. So you can rewrite this as plus 5 if you want. So in the box, what you're going to put is minus 7, parentheses, x plus 5. And let's do another problem. And this time we're going to do a problem that's not like the exercises from Khan Academy, but a more typical point slope type of problem. So in this type of problem, I'm going to give you a point, let's say minus 4, 8, and we'll give a slope, let's say minus 2/3, and we need to find the equation of the line. So let me write that in. And when you're given a point and a slope, we can use point slope to solve this. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And so we'll designate this as x1, y1. And we can just plug everything in. So we have y minus y1, but that's 8, is m, which is minus 2/3, times x minus x1, which is negative 4. And so we are subtracting a negative. We can turn that into addition. And now we just want to solve for y so that we can get it in our point slope form, which is probably the easiest form to graph. So to do that, I'm going to have to distribute this fraction to each of these. So we get y minus 8 is minus 2/3 x, and then we have 4 times minus 2/3. That would be minus 8 over 3. Remember, we're essentially multiplying fractions. You can put it 4 over 1, minus 2 times 4 is minus 8, 3 times 1 is 3. And now we want to move the 8 over here, so we're going to add 8 on each side, and really we need to turn that into a fraction with denominator of 3. So 8 is just 24/3, and we get y is equal to minus 2/3 x, and then we have minus 8/3 plus 24/3. So 24 minus 8 would be positive 16, so you get plus 16 over 3. And this would be the equation of the line, which you can then graph pretty quickly. This is 5 1/3, so that's where it's going to start for the y-intercept. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so right there. And then it goes with a slope of minus 2/3, so it goes down 2, and then over 3 units, so maybe something like that, 1, 2, 3. And so we can graph this line pretty quickly.